Hello, everybody. Welcome. Today, you've joined the LSE MSc Law and Finance Virtual Open Day. Thank you for joining us. First of all, we're going to go through the agenda for today. We're going to introduce the program, basically also tell you about why LSE, why this program, why the MSc Law and Finance. We're going to give you a detailed program overview, talk about the academic courses, the pre-sessional program, which is really critical. We're going to introduce you to our LSE careers and talk about career support, the admissions and application process, have time for your questions and our answers, and then talk about the upcoming events. So first of all, I'm going to introduce the team. I'll introduce myself. My name is Lorna Strong. I'm a lawyer. I've had 25 years as a lawyer in the financial industry. Most recently, for the last decade, I've been with HSBC as the global lead lawyer for trade finance. I've left HSBC and have joined LSE as the associate program director. And what that means is I've been working with academic colleagues here to develop the program, especially the pre-sessional, which is so critical. And during the year, I'll be the academic and career mentor for the students. So thank you. And I'd like to introduce my colleague, Edmund, or introduce yourself, Edmund.
Hi, my name is Edmund Schuster. I started working on corporate transactions 20 years ago. I'm also a lawyer. And for the past 14 years, I've been teaching various corporate law M&A modules at the LSE. I also have some practical experience. I worked as a takeover regulator and in private practice, and I still do consulting for law firms on corporate transactions. I'll be the academic director for this program. So together with Lorna, we'll manage the program. We'll make sure that you get the experience that you expect. And I'll hand over to David to introduce himself.
Thanks, Edmund. Thanks, Lorna. So my name is David Kershaw. I'm the Dean of LSE Law School. When I'm not doing this job, I'm a professor of corporate law and takeover regulation here at LSE. So before I became an academic, I was also a practicing lawyer. I qualified as a lawyer in the UK at Herbert Smith, now Herbert Smith Freehills, although if you're reading the Financial Times, they're about to change their name again. And after that, I was an M&A lawyer at Sherman Sterling in New York and London. And briefly, for a period in the late 1990s, I was also an investment banker with a bank that was then known as ING Barings. So I am delighted to hear that you're interested in this program, and this is a great opportunity to tell you about the program, but also to take any questions that you might have. So Lorna.
I'm just going to introduce you to the larger team too, the larger team. So we've got, aside from us in the room, of course, we've got other people supporting this from both the finance department and the law department. Professors in both. We have career consultants. Jasper, who's joining us later, is the senior admissions officer. And we also have a really broad range of interesting faculty doing the core courses and some of the electives as well. And as you can see from this slide, both from the finance area, from law, educated at a variety of prestigious universities. So I think over to you, David. Tell us a little bit more.
Great, thank you, Lorna. So my job here this morning, as well as to answer your questions, is to tell you why you should choose LSE, and if you're choosing LSE, why you should choose the MSc in Law and Finance, this fantastic new program that we have. So why LSE? Well, I mean, first and foremost, we're a globally leading institution. So you can look at the rankings. This year, we were very proud that the London School of Economics was the #1 university in the UK, according to the Times UK rankings. The finance department was also #1 department in finance in the UK. The law school was the 4th best law school in the country. When you look at the more global rankings, like the QS World Rankings, the finance department is #6 in the world. The law school is #7 in the world. So this is a globally leading law school. And as you'd expect with a globally leading law school, we've got a globally leading faculty from all over the world, literally the people who write the books, write the articles, that wherever you study law and finance, you'll be reading those books and reading those articles. So it's an incredible law school, incredible finance department that's coming together, but that will be true also of some of the other places that you're looking at. Not all of them, but some of the other institutions you're looking at for a degree in law and finance. So what's different? What distinguishes LSE from those other institutions? And we don't have so much time here, but I guess I would talk about two factors. The first one is about how we teach finance, how we teach law. It's deeply academic, but also very practical. And if I could just take the law side for 1 second, when we teach law, we're interested not only in the law in the books, but we're interested in the law in context. We're interested in that economic, business, social, political context that formed corporate law, that formed financial regulation, and within which financial regulation and corporate law operates today. So it's a deeply practical, context-based, but also very academic study of law and the study of finance. And I guess the second really distinguishing feature about studying here at LSE is where we're located. So we're located right in the heart of legal London, right in the heart of financial London, in an incredible global city. And I could talk about this for a long time, but it truly brings the study of finance and the study of finance and the study of law alive. And I think it also, connected to that location, I think it also means that it's also an incredibly alive intellectual space beyond the study of law and finance. Because we're situated where we are, everyone rolls through London. So we have speakers from, we have leading politicians, leading regulators, leading policymakers, judges, academics. This intellectual environment here at LSE is truly, I think, second to none. The LSE really does convene the conversations of the world. So there are, I think, pretty good reasons why LSE. So let me then move on to why MSc Law and Finance if you're going to study at LSE. And I think I just want to mention a couple of reasons. Now, we have, as I've already mentioned, globally leading faculty in finance, globally leading faculty in corporate law, corporate finance, financial regulation, financial law. We have those globally leading faculty, but what I think is truly distinctive about this program, which is partly distinctive about the LSE, is that we're a single faculty institution. Disciplines blend into each other. Edmund and I work with finance colleagues. Edmund and I publish with finance colleagues. We put on events together. So when we put on a law and finance masters, this is not finance over here and law over here. Of course, it in part is that, but it's also very much focused on the integration of law and finance. So we've worked really hard here to produce a program that interacts, that interconnects. When you're studying component parts of finance, you're also at the same time studying similar component parts of law. So you're looking at these different problems in the real commercial and financial world through these two different lenses, but in a very integrated way. So that, I think, is truly distinctive about what this program will offer. The second factor I think that is also going to be very distinctive about law and finance at LSE is the careers package. Lorna is doing incredible work on providing career support and careers pathway to allow you, if you come here looking for a career in finance or you come here looking for a career in commercial law, to be able to go through those pathways and to find the careers that you want. Now, connected to that, of course, is also the LSE network and what will become the LSE Law and Finance Network. You'll come here, you'll meet friends for life, but for sure, you will have legal and financial networks for life that will support you and will sustain you as you go through your career. So I think what we're offering here on the Law and Finance Masters is I think a truly distinctive and truly remarkable combination of the study of law and the study of finance. But I suspect, Lorna, I've taken far too much time here, so I better hand back over to you.
Actually, I think it's great. It's great to hear about the positives too. I think Edmund's going to talk to us more specifically about the particular program. We have the pre-sessional, but I think, Edmund, you're going to talk about some of the academic portions as well.
Absolutely. So I want to pick up on what David just said. It was really important for us that this is not the kind of interdisciplinary program where you learn a little bit from one discipline, a little bit from the other discipline, and then you're kind of sent out to the world. What we wanted to achieve is a deeply integrated program, but we also recognize that people will come to the LSE with a wide variety of backgrounds and previous knowledge. So we will start our program by inviting you to a pre-sessional course where we will make sure that you have the necessary tools to really study both the financial and the legal content at a high level from day one. So you will have introductions to how to read financial statements, how does financial modeling work, some of the core quantitative skills, which will probably be very useful for those of you who mainly studied law before. You will also get an introduction to the common law system, an introduction to how corporate lawyers look at corporate law, how it interacts with the financial world. And that may be quite different from the way you studied corporate law in whatever jurisdiction you studied law if you are applying as a lawyer. You will also learn about core concepts in financial regulation. So all of that is designed to put you in a position to really study the courses, the advanced courses in autumn term from day one with the right background and with the right foundation. Now, as we move into autumn term, there are two core courses from the finance side, so taught by our finance colleagues, that you will take. One is on financial markets. And this is a course that tries to convey the system as a whole. How do savings move into productive investments? How do financial markets achieve this movement from savings into investments? You will learn about how equity markets work, how bond markets work. What are the kind of key contracts used in financial markets? How do finance professionals use these contracts, and how do they value them? So you will learn about valuation methods. You will actually get your hands dirty with Excel models, and you will learn more about banking and insurance as kind of key components of the financial markets. Alongside the financial markets course, you will also have a finance-focused corporate finance module. This is a module where we will look at how firms make investment decisions. So you will look at questions such as, how do firms raise financing? How do firms decide, how do executives decide between raising debt financing and various forms of debt financing versus equity financing? How does that differ depending on the stage a company is in? And so in this corporate finance course, you will learn the firm perspective, and you will kind of get an insight into the heads of executives as they make these finance decisions. This is a lot of theory, but it is taught in a way that it is always connected to real life examples. So you will have case studies, for instance, on IPOs. And this is deeply integrated with the corporate finance law course that we teach alongside the corporate finance course. In the law course, you will learn about the legal rules that drive decisions, that shape decisions, and how corporate lawyers help and support their clients, the firms, to raise financing, to use rules to their advantage, and to navigate an increasingly complex regulatory space in this area. Now, apart from those core courses, you will also have one additional optional course. I'll say a little bit more about the options in a moment. After the winter break, in winter term, you will have two core courses focused on transactions. Again, these are two deeply integrated courses. Our aim here is to give you an insight into how corporate transactions are managed, how structures are decided, both from a finance and from a law perspective. So you will have a whole module focused and taught around case studies of specific deals. And we designed this course to make sure that the same deals can be looked at from a finance perspective. So you will look at, how do these deals work? You will look at past deals. How did the acquirer reach a certain valuation? How did they get around financial problems? But you will also look at these problems from a legal perspective. How were contracts drafted in order to solve problems that were identified on the financial side? So we strive to have a handoff each week. So as you move from the legal to the financial side and from the financial to the legal side, you always know why are we focusing on this problem? How is this relevant to the other field? And we've worked really hard with our finance colleagues to achieve this integration. Let me just say a little bit about options now.
Could I just quickly jump in?
Of course.
2 seconds there? I just wanted to reinforce that idea. I mean, the transaction course that you've referred to there, Edmund, on the finance side, on the legal side, is just a brilliant example of how we've designed this program to interact. But I also just wanted to add on the pre-sessional, just to emphasize the pre-sessional point, which is, many corporate finance courses that you take in law, for example, or indeed in finance in many institutions throughout the world, you'll spend the first few weeks getting the basics. Right now, we don't want to do that. We want to hit the ground running. So Lorna and Edmund have devised this amazing pre-sessional, which will cover those basics. So when you arrive in corporate finance law, when you arrive in the corporate finance course, you really truly hit the ground running. Sorry, Edmund, back to you.
No, absolutely. And so if you look at the finance courses that you will be taking in the first in the first semester, this is what people who study an MBA, who study for, an MSc in finance and real estate, these are the courses they will be taking. So the pre-sessional is really designed to get you up to the level so you can follow and benefit from those those courses. Now, as we move to options, you will have an option. You will have a range of options available to you. You can choose between some finance modules and a wide range of postgraduate law courses that complement these choices. So you can really tailor this program to whatever it is you want to do later on. So we have a sustainable finance module taught by the finance faculty, but we also have a law course on sustainable finance, this very rapidly evolving field. And this is one of the areas where law and finance already interact all the time in practice, right? So how are these decisions made on the finance side in a world where regulations change all the time, where you really need experts understanding where is the needle now and where is it moving. We have an international finance module, again, taught by the finance faculty. And we have, for instance, a course in international financial law and regulation, where a lot of those concepts are discussed from a legal perspective. We also have an entrepreneurial finance course where you will look at startups and startup financing, how startups scale up, what kinds of problems do they face and how do they solve them. And alongside that, we have a venture capital course on the legal side, where you will actually look at fund structures, at contracts, and at taking private, at early stage financing and those contracts related to that. So you can tailor the program beyond the core courses, and you can do so in a way that maintains that integration between law and finance. If you are interested in other areas, as I've mentioned before, we really do have probably one of the broadest ranges of LLM postgraduate law subjects taught anywhere in any law school in the world. And you are guaranteed to find something that is relevant to your career and to your interests. Very happy to take questions, but before I do so, Lorna will tell us a bit more about the pre-sessional and the structure.
Yeah, so we've talked about the pre-sessional coursework and the September month, what's involved in that. And as both Edmund and David said, a lot of it's getting everyone up to speed to where you should be to take the core courses. So heavily loaded on the financial, learning about financial statements, quantitative methods, modeling, cash sweeps, that kind of thing, getting you up to speed. Also courses on financial legal transactions and common law as well. But there's other parts of this program that are extremely important. One is the career support. Now, the career support at LSE starts from September and goes right through the year. But in September, it's very heavily loaded on classwork, such things as presentation skills, successful interviews, virtual interviews, CVs, cover letters, this type of thing. We also have something which is really excellent called the City Speakers Series. And what we do there is we pull in industry leaders from both finance and law, right from the city, to come and talk to students, to give presentations. And this isn't just about a lecture. They actually share a lot of what they've been doing in their career so that they can understand, that you can understand, what does a career as an investment banker look like? What does a career with an advisory firm look like? What about in a big global law firm? So it's really an excellent opportunity for you to visualize where you might want to be going later. And of course, lastly, but not least, is community building and fun. We've talked about the alumni from both LSE Law and Finance, but what's key for networking is your fellow students. And these students are going to be your network for the rest of your career. They're going to be all over the world. And it's really important that you get to know each other, that you build bonds, that you have fun, and that you unwind. So that's a big part of our pre-sessional too. So I guess one thing you might be thinking is, well, what kind of careers could I get to from this program? What's the options for me? Obviously, I've put a slide together. A very obvious one is some of our global law firms who have big financial focuses, but also a small specialty firm as well. But you can go beyond that, governmental and international agencies, strategy consulting, private equity, either as counsel or as in the financial world, central banks, multi-banks, investment and asset management, and consulting. There's a huge range of options here. And it's something that with our careers consultants and myself, you can work on that and decide what's right for you. So
and just connecting to what I said before there, Lorna, I mean, so every single one of these firms is literally, you know, a mile, 2 miles, 100 meters away, right? So that's what truly enables us to connect you to all of these different career paths.
And from my experience, just in the last few months, we are very connected with these firms too. We have dialogues all the time, which is really, really great. So on that, I wanted to introduce the LSE Careers consultant, Lewis Humphreys, and he's going to join us and talk a little bit more about LSE Careers. Hi, Lewis, take it away.
Good morning, and thank you, Lorna, for the introduction. My name is Lewis Humphreys. I'm one of the Careers Education Managers here at LSE. I co-manage the Careers Consultant team, and I'm the Careers Consultant for the Department of Finance, and will be supporting on this very exciting new program. Next slide, please, Jasper. One of the benefits you will get from studying this program is that you have access to the career support for the law school, the Department of Finance, and the central LSE careers provision. What does that actually look like? In 5 minutes, let me give you a very brief overview. So as a student at LSE, from September, you'll be able to get access to one-on-one career support, our extensive careers events offering all of our online resources and tools, as well as bespoke events and support in the Department of Finance and the law school. So my team consists of around 20 careers consultants who all have backgrounds in lots of different careers. I myself used to work in wealth management before going into the careers world. You can access careers appointments focusing on, what do I do with my life, Lewis? To, can you help me prepare for a final round interview at a bulge bracket investment bank? Can you help me prepare for my case interview at McKinsey? There is nothing that you cannot discuss in careers appointments. I think the last year we offered almost 14,000 careers appointments. We are extremely well resourced. We have a fantastic ratio of career staff to students, one of the best in the UK. So a big part of your time at LSE and a big thing you'll be able to take advantage of is access to one-on-one career support from the moment you join. It extends after you've left us as well. In the first 2 years, you get identical access. Beyond that, if you're looking to change roles a few years down the line, we'll continue to support you in a one-to-one capacity. Another huge part of our offer are our careers events. On Saturday, just gone, we were hosting International Organizations Day with some of those organizations mentioned 2 slides back, UN agencies, the World Bank, the EBRD, the European Investment Bank. It's the only recruitment event the IOs do in the UK. 21 international organizations coming to LSE on a Saturday to recruit LSE students and alumni. We also offer extensive events programs, both in our Discover Law and Legal Services program, banking, consulting, and many, many more careers events. Last year, we ran almost 500 careers events. We try and, as much as possible, get alumni back to talk to you about what they do and how they got there. We do that in formats such as the large careers fairs, but also smaller, more intimate settings too. Employers are also very willing and trying as much as possible to get onto campus to speak to students too. So we're very lucky, as Lorna said, to be very close to a lot of the large and most popular employers. So throughout the academic year, we run a wide variety of careers events. And for students, if you're considering your options and what you want to do in this program, I just want to say it's law, it's finance, it's consulting, but it's much, much more than that. And I'd be very happy to talk to you about what you want to do with your career after this MSc. The next thing to mention is our extensive offer of online resources and tools. So we've got a website filled with really helpful, useful information. We've got online tools such as CV checkers, such as things to help you practice with your pre-recorded video interviews, tools to help you prepare for case interviews for those interested in strategy consulting, and much, much more. So as well as having an extensive range of support from careers staff, extensive range of events, we also have the most sophisticated set of tools out there to support you on your careers journey. And the final thing to mention, and perhaps to reiterate, is that the benefit of being both in the law school and the Department of Finance is that you really will have access to some of the most amazing networks of alumni, have access to workshops and seminars that no other students at LSE get access to, whether that's technical interview preparation, whether that's the events such as the City Speaker Series. And just to wrap up, the next slide, please, Jasper. I think that the thing to emphasize, and I guess what makes this program particularly different on the careers front, is that from the moment you join, you'll get careers support. What does that look like? It probably looks like checking in and having someone chat to you about your CV and about your aspirations. That support continues throughout the year. We offer a huge range of workshops and seminars, whether you're at the beginning of your career or whether you're far further along in your career. There are too many opportunities to network with alumni. There's extensive one-on-one support from careers consultants who are all trained coaches, and most of whom have backgrounds in other careers such as consulting and finance. And you'll also benefit from Lorna's mentorship. As Lorna mentioned, she's coming off the back of a very long career at HSBC. So that in 5 minutes is a very brief overview of the career support you can expect if and when you join LSE.
Thank you, Lewis. And I think now we're going to talk to Jasper about admissions and the application process.
Thank you, Lorna. So this slide gives an overview of our entry requirements. I will draw your attention to a few specific things. In terms of the undergraduate or degree background, we are looking for a high-standing degree in law. Whilst the grade requirement will depend on which country you have studied in, it will typically translate into a high 2-1 first-class degree when using the UK grading system. As noted on the slide, if you are from a non-law academic background, we still welcome your application. The selectors will look for any relevant professional or academic experience you have. Moving on to quantitative skills, the 2 high school qualifications referenced on the slide are mentioned purely as an indicative guide. We will accept international equivalents, and any university level quantitative courses will surpass the requirement. In terms of professional experience, it is not a prerequisite, but relevant experience can always enhance an application. In terms of other components, references. Now, these should be from people who know you academically or professionally and can comment on your abilities and performance. We also require an up-to-date CV and statement of academic purpose, and I will provide further information on what this is shortly. Finally, IELTS or other English language test scores are not required at the application stage, but will be needed from offer recipients who must satisfy the English language requirement by summer 2025. Moving on then to the application process. This is a brief summary on screen of that process. For more detailed information, you should attend the Applying to LSE for Graduate Study sessions on the 15th and 21st of November, and these are run by the Graduate Admissions Office. So we operate what is called rolling admissions. This means we make decisions on applications as and when they arrive. We therefore recommend that you apply as soon as you can, because there will be a high level of competition for places. Every applicant must apply via the online application form. And please ensure you include all necessary information in the application. This is because additional information can only be added if requested by the selection committee. So we operate a holistic approach when considering applications. and this will be done by a committee of selectors. They will take into consideration all aspects of the application when reaching a decision. Therefore, it is in your interests to make each component as good as it can be. Finally, you can expect a decision within 6 to 8 weeks. As I mentioned earlier, I have some more information about the statement of purpose. So what is this? Well, it is a written statement of roughly 1,000 to 1,500 words, and it is a very important part of the application. We do not do interviews, so the statement is your opportunity to speak directly to the selectors and coherently and persuasively communicate your suitability, motivations, and interests. The slide in front of you contains some advice for writing your statement, and we really want to emphasize that you please ensure that the statement is your own work. I will now hand back to Lorna.
Thanks, Jasper. I guess we're going to go into the question period, but first, I think, Edmund, you were going to comment a little bit.
Yeah, I just wanted to add something to what Louis said. One of the motivators for us teaching this program really was how we saw a lot of our graduates move into finance-related roles, how they thrived in those roles. And very often they come back to us and say, you know, it was really useful what I learned at LSE, but there are certain skills that you wouldn't get in a normal law degree. And so after announcing this program, many of our alumni have reached out and they said, well, that sounds fantastic. I wish this kind of program had been available when I studied. And so in terms of career support and inviting alumni in, we will invite in particular people who have studied law at LSE and who have successfully moved into finance roles to kind of share their experiences with you, to give you a better idea of what kind of skills they had to kind of brush up on, and you will get in as part of the program. And I think we can move to
thanks, Edmund. Now, Jasper is looking at the chat line, so please put your questions in the chat. I've got two here that came in before today. One of them was, is the MSc Law and Finance program available on a part-time basis? No, the MSc Law and Finance is only available full-time and on campus. The program is 10 months long, including the 1 month pre-sessional, and it starts early September 2025. Second question I've received is, I've been working professionally for a number of years and it'll be difficult for me to provide an academic reference. Can this be waived? We do ask for 2 references and the 2 references are required. But ideally, one is academic and one is professional, but you can have 2 academic or 2 professional. It's up to you. Either is fine. So do you want to comment on that, David?
Just wanted to add in relation to part-time. So, you know, obviously we thought about whether there should be a part-time option, but decided no. And the reason for that is that we want you to be here. We want you to be here on campus. We want you to be integrated with everything that we do. As I said to you at the beginning, it's an incredibly alive intellectual environment. You know, if you're working as well as doing this, you're going to miss out on a lot of that. So we just really want you to be here on campus, engaged with everything that we do. Definitely.
So Jasper, why don't you give some of the questions to us and we'll try to answer them.
Yes, I have a question here from Hala, who asks, is this program suitable for common law educated lawyers working in corporate finance, corporate law?
Yeah, so absolutely. This program is absolutely suited for that. As I said earlier, we do have kind of an introduction to common law concepts part of the pre-sessional. Obviously, you will probably not learn a lot of new stuff in that part of the pre-sessional. But other than that, these are very, very advanced courses, both on the law side and on the finance side. And just to give you an idea, we also run an executive postgraduate law program here at LSE, where a lot of these advanced courses that you will be taking as options and that are the kind of the basis for our postgraduate law offering in corporate law are taught. And we get very experienced lawyers from across the world into these courses. And invariably, the feedback we get is, you know, I've been doing this for 15 years, but, you know, studying this again and kind of questioning why are we doing this rather than just using whatever template we had from the previous deal makes me a better lawyer. So I think in a way, that is one of the core target groups that we have, one of the core groups we designed the program for. I'm not sure if you want to add to that.
No, I completely agree, Edmund. But I would also just, the only thing I would add to that is that as a global law school, we teach comparatively. So you might have experience, Hannah, from one particular jurisdiction, but we will place different jurisdictions alongside each other in relation to corporate law, in relation to financial regulation. It's that comparative experience that I think can really bring alive your understanding of your own common law jurisdiction. And I think just connected to that, I just wanted to stress, I think this program offers really two pathways, right? It offers the pathway of the existing lawyer that wants to enhance their corporate legal education and become very skilled on the finance side, who then just wants to grow and move into different parts of corporate and financial legal practice. But at the same time, it offers a pathway, I think, for lawyers who want to come in and want to enter the finance space, and at the same time offers a pathway for those colleagues that with legal experience but are in the finance world to enhance their understanding of the legal rules and regulations which structure the world of finance. So this course, I think, offers multiple pathways for multiple students coming from different places and looking to go in different places in their careers.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. I think as one of your alumni said, I wish this was here when I did my education.
I wish this was here when I did my education.
So thanks. Another question, Jasper?
Yes, a question from David, who is a lawyer with 10 years corporate experience, and he's already made an application. Is there an option with the program for an internship with a corporate firm?
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
So we decided against integrating the kind of the internship portion into our program. And the reason for that is that we expect a wide range of different interests from our students. And rather than just handing you off to a firm, what we want to do is what we do best: expose you to these finance and law concepts on a very high level from the academic side, support you in any way we can on the career side. And so the short answer, therefore, is no, any internship you want to do will not be formally part of the program, but getting a job, getting you ready for a job, making you very attractive to corporate law firms and other employers in the space is absolutely part of our job, and supporting you in being successful in getting that job is what our career team does really, really well. I don't know if you want to add anything to
I
that.
think the only thing I'd add is I understand that LSE Careers also promotes internships after the course is over, if that's what you're looking for as well.
So you come here, you study finance, you study law, and at the same time we immerse you in a world of connections, contacts, and careers opportunities, precisely for the reason that Edmund said, right, is that so many of you will be coming from different perspectives, and there won't be a one-size-all-fits internship model. So we want to give you the opportunity and then allow you to explore those networks yourself.
And I mean, the conversations we've had with senior lawyers in law firms and other potential employers is really, we get the feedback that sounds really exciting. So, I mean, we are focused on making the program, shaping the program in a way that makes you one of the targets of those firms, rather than focusing on getting an often, I think, meaningless short-term placement with a firm.
Thanks, guys. Jasper, next question.
Yes. What advice does the panel have for prospective applicants who are interested in the program but have limited or no law background?
Should I say that?
Yeah, sure.
So if you haven't got any law background, what we'd be looking for is some sense of connection or experience with law and regulation. So you could be working in a bank but have been exposed to financial regulation, or exposed to contract negotiation, or indeed exposed to litigation. So we're looking for that connection. But we are very open to very highly qualified colleagues, students who don't have a law degree. But what we do need is a sense of your connection, your understanding, your involvement with law and regulation in order to get admitted.
So if I can summarize, you might not have a law degree, but you'll have some sort of connection to law in your professional life or other education or something like that coming to it, not just simply interested in law.
Exactly right. It's that connection that counts.
Okay,
Absolutely. And I mean, we've been, David and I have been practicing. So when you have a client who's a private equity executive, for instance, there are different types of ways in which you can fulfill this role. And sometimes you come across somebody who is not a lawyer at all, but just discussing with them, you can see, you know, for years and years, how the way law interacts with their field was an important part of their role. And so if you can demonstrate that, either law or regulation in your field played an important part in your role and forms part of your experience, we will absolutely look at that experience and qualification, because it demonstrates that you will be able to follow even an advanced law course.
Yeah, and if I could just add one other thing. So we have a similar requirement on our executive master's law program, which is for working professionals. So on that program, we have quite a few students who are not lawyers, but do have that regulatory and legal connection. They love studying these law courses. Sometimes it can be, it's a bit of an extra requirement for them. They have to work that a little bit harder to catch up, but they really enjoy it, and they're wonderful students in the classroom.
Thanks, guys. Jasper, next question.
Yes, careers related question. Is that support for careers limited to positions in London and the UK? What if some students are looking for a career in another country?
Thanks for that. I'm wondering, is Lewis still on line? If you want to take that.
Lorna, you can't see me, but everybody else can. Great question. Yes, we provide support to students wherever they want to continue or start their careers. So we have country programs in North America, China, Brussels, and India currently, but we support students going into many, many other different jurisdictions too. How do we do that? Well, we help connect you with alumni working in different parts of the world. We have tools such as jobs boards for non-UK countries as well. So yes, there's lots of support and some programs that I mentioned for international students looking to work internationally.
And if I could just add to that, I mean, our networks are global here at LSE. So the colleagues that we have coming to talk to students who will connect you and we can connect you to are from all over the world. And just a couple of examples from law. I mean, we recently had McKinsey's Global General Counsel coming to talk to our students and network on our students. In a few weeks, we'll have the former Deputy General Counsel of Aramco from Saudi. So it's, we have colleagues, alumni from all over the world that we can connect you to, and we'll also be there to support you in deciding what you want to do and also generating connections for your career.
As an example of that, when I joined LSE from HSBC, I found out that one of my colleagues in Vietnam actually attended one of the master's programs here at LSE. So, and is working in finance there. So it's everywhere.
Truly global.
Yeah, thank you. Next question.
Yes, question about does the program offer opportunities for further study such as PhD?
Shall I take that one, Edmund? Yeah. So it doesn't offer the direct opportunity in the sense of a pathway through to the PhD, but anyone who performs really well in this program would definitely be able to submit an application to our PhD programs, both within law and within finance. And then would be subject to the application criteria and the entry criteria for those programs. But of course, all of our master's programs, both in finance and law, every year see several students progressing through into a PhD program. So for those colleagues and those students who want that, it's definitely available.
Okay, thanks. Next question.
So a couple of questions. Particularly one from Ali Kassi. He asks, how does the program incorporate emerging areas such as cryptocurrency law and AI regulation into the curriculum? Are there opportunities to specialize or engage in these fields?
I take that one. So how is this integrated? Let me start with AI law. Teaching AI regulation has started at LSE perhaps earlier than in most other places around the world. And you will have, as part of your options, you will have access to courses in AI regulation alongside your studies. And I think it's fair to say that LSE Law is one of the leading places to ask questions about this, emerging field. On the kind of cryptocurrency side, we do have several courses in which the legal and the kind of financial regulation aspects of cryptocurrencies, the use of blockchain, decentralized finance are discussed. I mentioned earlier, for instance, international financial law and regulation. As part of that course, there's a section on how these new areas are regulated, how do they work, how do they interact with the legal system. We have courses that deal with, dematerialized securities and blockchain ledgers from a legal perspective. And several of our finance colleagues look at this from a kind of financial perspective. So as you study, for instance, portfolio theory, these will be some of the examples that you will be discussing, different asset classes as part of your financial markets education.
And I would also say that London is the place for fintech. It's one of the places in the world, I think there's the most study, the most development. I know in my old role, myself and my team were in the lead. We did the first financial blockchain for trade finance, and that's all happening in London. So again, you're in the right spot to connect with other people in the industry that are doing the same thing.
Absolutely. And I would also add that Edmund is far too modest because his own work is at the forefront of analyzing the use of blockchain, within the financial world. You will learn a lot from Edmund about this, I promise you.
Thanks. Next question.
Yes, we had several questions about fees and funding. So what is the program fee and what funding is available?
Do you want to take that, Jasper?
Yes, happy to. So the fee for all students is £48,500. In terms of funding, there are no dedicated scholarships for the programme. However, all applicants will be able to apply for general LSE financial support, of which there are several different options. So after you make your academic application, please make your graduate financial support application. There is a deadline for that, and many, in fact, of LSE scholarships are awarded on a rolling basis.
Thank you. The other thing to mention is that there are also scholarships in London often for foreign students, for other things. So go beyond LSE and look what else is available to you. Thanks. Next question.
Yes, several questions also just for the panel to give a bit more information on the quantitative requirements, but also the quantitative demands of the programme.
Yeah.
So you heard earlier that we have a certain minimum requirement, which at least for the UK means you must have been exposed to mathematics at more than the kind of minimum level. I think it is fair to say that given the course, the financial markets course and the corporate finance course are based on courses that are often taught in MBA type programs, it is demanding if you don't have a lot of quantitative training in advance, but it is definitely manageable. So these are courses where the requirements are tailored for people who have an interest in developing, financial modeling skills, in understanding how valuation works. And if you don't have any prior training specifically to that, it is doable. It is just a little bit harder. It's kind of similar to what David said earlier about people with no law background. If you're really interested in a program like that, in a program like this, then you will have to do a little bit of extra work if one of the two aspects of the program is completely new to you. But we are aware of that potential difficulty. And so we've designed the level of these courses to what we think is manageable for people with a little bit of experience and for people with no previous experience in financial modeling, no previous experience at all, but with a commitment and desire to learn about these things. So you will not be given, an empty Excel sheet and be asked to write a financial model, but you will be working with Excel and you will have to find out how to do certain things. You will be taught others. And I think especially for people who don't have that previous experience, there will be a real sense of achievement when you can then do this stuff. And very often, and that is certainly my experience, you then learn not all of the stuff in the finance world that is really useful, that is really widely used, is extremely complicated math. Right. So
it's actually fairly simple, but it helps to have the complicated background and to learn that. So for people that don't have that background, it will be a bit of an uphill struggle in the first while. Same with people that don't have the common law, it'll be an uphill struggle for a month or so to really get into it.
Exactly. But you'll catch up.
Catch on. I think we have time for one or two more questions.
Yes. Question from Daniel. He'd be grateful if the panel could please elaborate further on how the program is more focused on the integration rather than just a general interdisciplinary study.
Okay, so when designing the program, we looked at a range of similar programs around the country and around the world, not just law and finance, but other primarily law and programs. And looking at these programs, what we kind of identified as a potential weakness is that often, or let me start differently. The easy way to put together a program like that is to say, well, we have an existing portfolio of courses in discipline A and an existing portfolio in discipline B. Let's just throw them together. And we've decided that this is not what we want to do. So the integration works by people from the legal side, people from the law school, sitting with people from the finance department and deciding what kinds of deals do we want to teach. And I might suggest, well, this deal is really interesting. And my finance colleague says, well, but there's no interesting valuation component to it. So we then jointly choose those deals because we believe that teaching it this way will make it much easier for you to understand the relevance of both sides of that equation, will make it more interesting to, work with that Excel sheet on valuation because, there was litigation later on about, this price adjustment clause or anything like that. So I think we are quite happy with the way we designed the program because of that integration, because the integration goes beyond just putting together courses that in theory fit well. But instead, what we did is we redesigned these courses. We created these bespoke courses, both on the law and the finance side, with a view to exposing you to the same problems from these different perspectives at the same time. And because these are core courses, together with your whole cohort.
Yeah, I think could I just add to that? So
Yeah.
You have deal conceptual, but also timing integration to make sure that we're dealing with particular issues, particular ideas that are relevant to both finance and law at a similar point in time within the year. So, but also I just wanted to add to Edmund's point about sort of course and interdisciplinary integration there to the social component as well, right? So if you take this program, you're a member of the finance department, you're a member of the law school, and so we've also worked really hard about making sure that you will be integrated socially, so you can get to know other law students. You'll go along to some of the law social events, the finance social events, the law off-site events, and the finance off-site events.
Yeah, so if you're talking about networking, you get the two faculties, the two alumni.
Exactly.
Pretty broad.
It's an explosion of networking, it really is.
Okay, Jasper, I think the last question, and then we'll go to the upcoming events.
Yes, okay, maybe a crucial one. What is the application timeline?
Do you want to talk about that? Because with the rolling admissions, I'm thinking.
Yes, happy to. So we are currently open to applications, and as we mentioned earlier, rolling admissions, which means we'll consider and make offers from now onwards. So we recommend people to apply as soon as possible, and the program will close to applications when we've made our offers, and that will potentially be in the springtime. And so there's no set deadline. So please do apply as soon as you can.
That was a new concept for me, Jasper, when I heard about it. And I guess what it means really is we're looking for the top candidates. And so if we get a lot of applications early on in the fall or winter, the admissions might close early. But if we want, we might say, well, we're going to hold some spots and see what we have for applications later. So we can't tell you it's going to close in March or it's going to close in February. It's as soon as we get the cohort that we think is the best. So please apply early if you can. But if you don't happen to apply early, you can still put your application later and it might not be closed. So, okay, thank you for your questions, and I'm sorry we couldn't answer all of them, but we will have links on our web pages, but also at the end of the PowerPoint. And by the way, this is recorded, so you can look it up later for those links.
Finally, then, we'll finish with a few useful links. There you have our email address. I know we weren't able to answer all the questions today, so please do contact us via our email address for any further questions you may have. We also include there the program webpage, and I know there were several questions with specifically about which grade requirements from your country, and on that page you can find all of that information. So do check out the program webpage. The LSE Graduate Admissions Knowledge Base will also help you with any and all questions you have about the application process. And finally, linking to what Lewis told us about, there is a link there for more information and data on what our LSE graduates do.